Hey guys, how's it going? This episode we're going to build an instrument panel without the use of a computer or an NC machine, router, and none of that stuff. So stay tuned. Okay guys, we're going to go over here to the shop and we got stuff laid out on the table. What we're going to be doing is making a real simple replacement for this 172 instrument panel. This instrument panel was set up for the old style gyro and the old style DG and all that, so we're going to be replacing it. This is magnesium, so we're actually replacing it. We're going to respace it. We're actually going to straighten it out. This is an original panel. This is another one from another airplane, and it's got a kick out on it for the VOR and all that. We're getting rid of all that stuff. We're going to go with two AV30s, so this will be kind of the modern version of it. And so what it will look like, we've already done one of these. What it'll look like is just a standard 6-pack. We've got a space because of where the yoke is. On the old airplanes it was a little bit taller. And then we've got our standard 6-pack. We're going to have our altimeter VSI, airspeed, and turn bank. We're going to keep that going, and then we're also going to have the two AV30, the glass displays here. These could also be Garmin if you wanted to, whatever, but that's the way we're setting it up. We actually have nothing to go in these holes here. We'll have a clock over here, so this will actually still be fully ample space for what we're doing. And then we're straightening the panel out so it's not a knee knocker anymore. We don't have those lower displays, so that's what we're going to be building, and we're going to knock this thing out quick. Okay guys, we're going to make this real simple. We're just copying an existing panel, but we're going to be changing some of the geometry, sliding things around a little bit, getting things lined up. If you look at this kind of roughly, this panel is not lined up. This instrument is not lined up, so we're going to line that stuff up, get everything lined up. We're going to get this one also the proper size and get it lined up, so get all that stuff done. Tom's working on cleaning up the shop and getting some stuff organized so we can do more better stuff here. And then we've taken this panel, unlike the other one, and we've actually hammered it flat. So that's our pattern, so to speak, our master pattern. This is one we've already done. You can see everything's nice, lined up and all that. We've got 9 3-inch holes, so 3 1/8 inch holes, and then 1 2 1/4 inch hole. This is where the clock was on the original airplane, so that will probably go back in there. So that's what our end product. We've already done one of these. I thought, why not show you guys how we did it, and hopefully we knock this thing out pretty quick. Okay, first things first, we're going to figure out, we were using a piece of 100 thousandths aluminum. Why am I using 100 thousandths aluminum? Because that's what I use. Okay, you can use any thickness you want, whatever you think is appropriate. But again, it's probably a little bit overkill, a little bit too thick maybe you might say, but it works. This will work just fine. It's about the same as the original part. Now we're lining up from the mill finish edge or the shear finish edge here. Just to make our lives easy, it's one less edge we don't have to cut. So I got that all laid up there. Clamp that. Now we're going to be using all battery powered tools this time, just to show you that we can do this pretty darn simply. We will be using some air powered tools I think later, but right now I'm using that. Okay, so we've got that done. We're figuring out that all we're doing is we're copying the panel, copying the outer edge, and then we're reusing we're going to be moving things around inside. Okay, so first things first, we're going to take a scribe, and I'm scribing the outer edge of the part. When I go and trim this, I'm going to trim it to the actual edge. Okay. And then we're going to take this out. We don't have a bandsaw with a deep enough throat on this, so we're going to use our jigsaw, handheld jigsaw. Okay. Then we also have mounting holes. The other thing I like to do is I like to tape off holes we're not going to put anything on. So we tape off all the holes that we don't need, so that when we come back later, we don't drill any unnecessary holes. So we've got mounting holes. Okay, taped up. I'm going to scribe the hole for the control yoke. And then we're going to drill there's only 5 mounting holes for this panel. So we're going to drill those real quick right now. Bigger, better. Nothing there. That is for, yes, we need that. Lots of it. Oops. Okay, we're just putting some plecos in here just to hold it tight while we actually we don't really need to. We're done with this. Now we're ready to cut it apart. So let's do that. Cut it off this piece of metal. This will come in helpful later in the process. But right now we're going to get it off this piece of metal. You can see here the scratch line all the way around. We're going to go just outside of it. We're going to try to be as close to it, but not hit it, so that we don't have much to sand off. Thank you, sir. Probably you too. what we did here is we put masking tape on here to keep this from scratching us. There's plastic on here already, but this actually has a plastic shoe, but we also put this on just so we don't scratch anything. We don't want to scratch anything if we don't have to. Now what we will do is we're going to put this piece on backwards. We're going to do most all of our work on the back side, so that's our plan there. What we're going to do before we do that is we're going to what we're going to do before we do that is we're going to tape this whole thing off with masking tape, because we're going to be marking on it, and I can't write on that with just regular pen won't work. See if you can find a pen. There's a pen around here somewhere. I know there's one on the magneto bench. Or maybe I have one in my pocket. I don't have my pocket. I got one in my pocket. We're set. We're good. We're good. Boom. And this just allows it. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer that pattern loosely, but move some stuff around. So this will give us the ability to do that. When we get all done, hopefully we won't scratch anything. Okay, so we take this like that. Grab a chair, man. Grab a chair. There's a chair. Okay. Then we're going to take that on there. We're going to put our clecos in and pop a few of these clecos in. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Where are you? Come on. Should be in there. Maybe did I not drill you? That one's crooked. Let's get it.
This one's drilled.
Yeah, that one's drilling. They should have been all drilled. Some of the clecos are crap. What's there? There should be one here. Should be one over here. Okay, so that, and then we're going to make sure that this edge is even. Just kind of wrap. Okay, so now what we're going to do is take our pen, and we're going to do our layout. Now the thing we know is we're going to need a control stick hole. That's a given. We know that we like this. These are 3-inch holes, and we're going to come in here and do little screw cutouts, because that way we can take our lines and we can X those and find out where the center of that hole is. So that'll work. So we're going to do that on all these. That's kind of mostly a hole. That's got a cutout. This is probably for a VOR head of some sort back in the day. So I'm not going to be able to do much with that one. This one will give us a good X. But we're actually going to probably be moving some of these, like I said, moving some of these around a little bit. Boom, this one here, not much going on. That's going to be a hard one to do, but I'll show you how to work around that. Boom, here, boom, boom. So that takes care of that one, that one, that one. Let's get this one here. Going here, boom, 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 boom. Got that, got that. Need to do this one. Clock. Okay, zoom. That's a good hole. And I think what we're going to do in this is move these over an edge, just to make that a tad thicker. That we're going to leave alone, because that hole's messed up. We don't know if that's really in the right place, and that hole is, we don't know where that is, so we're going to leave those two open. We're going to leave that open. We don't need to mess with that. So now, grab the, if you could, grab the big scale out of the top of the box in the blue slip. Top of that box, there's an 18-inch scale. Should be in there. Okay, we don't really need this much anymore right now. We're going to set that down. Yeah, that one. So now, I'm going to do that, and then we're going to use the carpenter square. Now the one edge we know is good is the bottom edge. So everything else is up in the air, but this is also a square here. This angle is here. We just don't have a finish edge. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can get a center on some of these holes. So we come in here like so, pretty simple. Like so, come over to the center, and all we're doing, we're just trying to find a notional center. And if we're off a couple millimeters, it's not a big deal. This one here should be about the same. This one here, and we're going to be moving some, so don't fret. This is just a starting point. Okay, this is our top one. Boom, boom. Now, all we're doing is we're just finding a notional center. Once these may not line up. I mean, I get that. I'm okay with that. But at least the panel we build will be all nice and straight. I can't do one there. I can kind of do one there, I guess, ish. Kind of like that. Part of that one. That one I got nothing. This one I've got enough to do an X on that. Okay, so now I'll come over here, and I'm pleased with the spacing. This spacing I'm okay with. So we're going to, and then this spacing is going to be, this next row up here is going to be forced to this line. This one is going to be forced to here. So that's what we're going to do there. Okay. So now we're going to come in here and actually put something underneath here so my square works better. Put it over here so my square works better. Let's see, boom. So, okay. And then this row we're pretty good at. We feel good about this row. And then this row, what we're going to do on this one is we're going to go over, let's move it over. We're not going to move it over much. Let's move it over just a smidgen. Yeah, just a tenth of an inch. We'll just move it over a tenth of an inch. Don't need him anymore. That should work. Good, right there. Right there. That'll give us 2, 3. Now what we're going to do, we're going to measure these. Excuse me. And we've got right at 6 inches. Who knew? Cessna will go with an even number. 6 inches. 6 inches over here. We'll go 6 inches over here. Circle those so I don't forget them. And then this one should be a notional number of some sort. That's not right. That's pretty close. And that looks like 2.2. We got a little extra space here. I would say let's make it an even 2.2, just because. And that'll give us our horizontal line for that one. 2.2 on this. Okay. That takes care of that row. That row. This row here is now it's quite a bit higher. We can bring it down a little bit. So this right now it's showing about 10.8, and I think we can probably bring that down to about 10.5. Let's bring it down 10.5. And there's nothing behind it to foul it, so we're in good shape that way. Let's go to 10.5. Okay, so now what we've done is we have the water lines for those three. We have the others for that, so that should get us all set up. This guy here, it's a 2 1/4 inch gauge, so that's 1 1/8. Now let's see, we move that over, so that's going to kick us over, what do we say, about 0.2? About 0.2, so it's we'll go with 1 1/8, 1 1/8, and then we move it over 0.2, just so we don't bump into that. And that's right there. So that's what we want to do, that one, not that one. And then for north-south, I would say we put it on the same center line as the others. Just have nice line of symmetry. Okay. That's pretty good. And that's pretty good. Okay, so we want there. These are bullseyes. There, there, and there. This one here. Boom, boom. Boom. That's not dead on. That's pretty good. So we're doing pretty good there. So that is our target, target, target. Okay. Up here, same program. Come in here. Okay, this is going to be our target on this one. This is going to be our target on this one. And this is going to be our target on that one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's see how far off we are from our last one we did. It's about the same, so that worked out pretty well. Yeah, we lowered that, so I think this is going to be good. Looks about the same what we did on the other one. I freestyled the other one also, so I'll get you now. What we can do, see if we can find a piece of wood, like a piece of 2x4, any kind of wood we can, so I can drill on it. And while you're doing that, I'll get a snap punch. Okay, we'll throw a piece of plywood in under here, get that going, and now we're going to snap punch the centers of all these holes, just to keep me honest. Fast forward, fast forward. There. Turkey. Okay. Got those centered up. Okay, what do we have? 1, 2, 3. It's looking good. Bang, 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 bang. We have all those. We're in good shape. So now we're going to drill with a number 40. So we're shooting on with that. We're going to drill with a number 40, and then we're going to come back with our spot weld cutters or blade cutters, hole cutters, and bring them up to 3/4 inch. Okay, take that off. Now we're going to go with our hole cutters. This is a Blair spot weld cutter kit. They don't make this particular set anymore, but they still make a version of it. If you're ever doing cutting holes in thin metal, this is the way to go. Switch holes, any kind of stuff like that in a panel, this is the way to go. think I'm running out of batteries. Whoops, I missed one. Okay, I think I got all the holes now. There you go. There you go. Thanks, sir. Cold hot. Okay, now we've got all the instrument holes. What we're going to do?
Got the yoke still, don't you?
Yeah, what I'm going to do on that is I'm going to drill out the. I'm going to put a number 40 in there and put one of the, knock one of these in there, and then we'll use the big step drill and get it up as big as we can, and then we'll take that out with a rotary file. So coming back to this, I'll put this back in real quick. And then we'll be done with that tool, and we'll be done with the hole cutters. And that's just in the middle. Perfect. Okay, get that out of the way, put this guy back in. Oops. Let's get it in correctly. Okay. I think a major amount of mess here. And those layer cutters, what size hole did I use? I used a 5/8 hole cut, and the reason we did that is because the next tool coming up in our hit parade is going to be utilized. However, in the interim, we're going to take this yoke hole and take it up to as big as this little guy will get it, and then we'll finish it with the we will finish that with a rotary file. So now we're done with this tool. Boom. Rotary file is going to be coming up. The next tool we're going to be using is this guy here, and we're going to grab a camera and go over to the other part of the shop. I'm going to go over to the hydraulic press. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this guy here, and it's got this kind of a cool tool. It's got a 2 1/4 inch hole on one side and a 3 1/8 on the other side. Take the cardboard out, and all we're going to do is we're going to come in here. It's got a cutter, and you can either put it this way or you can do it this way. So we're going to be using both of them. And we're going to use the 12-ton press because that's what we're going to need. Let's get it like that. This goes on the other side. And we don't really need this because we're going to be using a press. And this is from ATS, I believe ATS has these. It is a punch knockout, part number, I can't read it, aircraft tool supply, something like 1530 or something like that. But we're going to go now to the press. So here we go.
I believe. She's a blinking red.
Okay, what we're doing here is we've got the hydraulic press. We're over in the magneto shop. We're just going to start popping these out. So this is the 3 1/8, and this is 12 tons of love coming at you. And you hear too, it pops. There we go. And look at it. Let's double check. Sometimes what I like to do is I come over here, and it doesn't seem quite even. I just make sure that it is all the way down. Okay, I think we're through. We're through. I gotta go that little nudge, and then I take this off. Nope, it's not quite through. Hang on. First one's always the miracle. Okay, let's do a little more. Like I said, let's do this. Pump this down. On these big holes, it doesn't always want to. There we go. Get that extra little. So kind of 2 pops sometimes. When you do that, bottom comes off right away. There's our instrument panel former, and then we'll have to whack it out. So now what I do here is I will come over here, widen this up, and I'll just press this out, make it easier. Oh, actually, I had a big socket. Let me go get a big socket out of the fridge, or out of the toolbox. Yeah, what? Twang, comes out. Boom. Then we just go and take this. We've got to take this, reset this to another hole.
How do you get this booger bear out?
Exactly. How do we get this booger bear out? So let's go over to the bench. And we just kind of come, I use a little stand here. And we can just kind of come in here. And then, oh, there it is. So that's coming out. And that's why they have a hole in here for punching out either side. That's to knock that out. So we'll leave this stuff here. We'll be back here about 9 times. And did we get them both? Nope. There's the other one. Okay. Maybe not. Thought I did. Okay. Come on, baby. Get off. Take that off. Take this off. Down there. Now we do the 2 1/4. So what we do there is we take this guy, and we're going to cut with a small hole. There. And then that, we use the small side. Still has the popper outer. And this might be harder. I'm not forget if this is harder or easier. There we go. You got it. Okay, back to the top. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to drill the holes for the instruments mounting and all that. So we're going to get all those done. Some of these will have cutouts and all that, but they'll be bigger than these holes if they do. Let me think. The vertical speed and the altimeter will have adjusting holes. They'll be unique cutouts. I don't have a problem with that. The airspeed and turn coordinator, turn bank, turn coordinator, there'll be pure round holes, round hole, round hole, round hole. And then the this and this on this particular aircraft, we don't know what we're going to put in. It'll either be G5s or AV30s, or it'll be just conventional instruments. But there shouldn't be any. We may have to do some customizing, but we're not worried about that right now. What we are going to use is this cool little plate. Again, Aircraft Spruce or ATS, I think, has them, and it's for drilling the corner holes on your instruments. Got six little kickouts for 4 little kickouts for the small hole. And then on the flip side, it's got 4 for the big hole. So you just get it and center it up in the hole like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come in here with our doodah. We're going to get let me get the right size drill first. Okay. So we're going to use this little drill plate. It's got kickouts for the 3 1/4, 3 1/8, and then also kickouts for 2 1/4. So we're going to do the 2 1/4 first, only because this is a great place for me to make a mistake. So what I do here is, because I have the opportunity to drill the outer holes, I will tape them off because I'm a moron, and then that way I don't make any mistakes. When I drill the bigger holes, shouldn't be able to make a mistake because the hole's bigger than those others. So do that. Okay. Come in here and we'll get this cleaned off. Okay. This on here. And then we want to get this squared up with the bottom edge. Get it nice and square, and just to keep everything legit, we will tape it down to help us keep from going anywhere. Okay, and then we just start. I'll tell you what, get some on that toolbox. Well, where's the toolbox? Grab some of those black Clecos.
How many some?
3. That's all we need. Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll Cleco this down. Come on, Bill. Quit screwing. Put that here. Put that on. Okay, double check. Make sure we're still square. Yep. Okay. So we got a Cleco just to keep it in place. Good deal. Okay, one down. Hole pattern for that. Now we're going to use the other side for the big guys. Same program. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on this just to keep it square when we get there. Get this laid in like so. Get our square back to dum like that, like that, like that. Drill a hole. Cleco. Actually, let's see if I drill a hole deeper, it'll Cleco it into the piece of plywood. How's that sound? Save a step. Don't need that tool. Stay put. Good. Same program here. Square up again. Over there. Get it squared up. Beautiful. Okay, now we're pretty well done, except for I'm going to take a rotary file and open this up. That's not a problem. The other thing is, on these holes, they're not quite big enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a rotary drum file, and I use this one here, which is a single cut. It's very controllable and all that. If you get the double cut, it's very bitey. I would not recommend buying one of those. but this works pretty well. And I find that, tell you what, over in the 172, there's a pretty looking instrument that's painted, one that has a better face than all the others. And what I'm going to do is give this about 10 rounds, because this hole is between the rough metal and paint, where you want to make sure this thing fits. Cool. Just keep doing those on these. About 10, 12 rounds. There we go. Yeah, that looks good. So then, we're going to see how this fits. And we did about 10 rounds. That fits beautiful. So that's what we're looking for. This is what the instrument panel, the front. Now the front we've kept all plasticed up, and we've been doing all the work on the back. So that's what it's going to look like. It goes over here. But that's what it's going to look like. And then we've got our normal stack. So everything's looking pretty good. The rest of the action is just rotary file. We're going to take a belt sander around the edge to take that down to the line, so there's no rocket science going on there. Same thing, we're going to take a rotary file on that. Some of these, like the altimeter, or pardon me, yeah, the altimeter is going to have a little cutout. We'll just hand do that. That's not a big deal. But all intents and purposes, we just finished an instrument panel for the most part. And I don't know what time you got. What's our total run time? 10:50. So we've been going. This is less than 2 hours. We had an instrument panel pretty well 90% knocked out. So anyway, that's it for this episode. We'll catch you guys later. Go fly yourself. HangaRatz out.